powerless. I didn't feel omnipotent, only powerless. The book was popular with the kind of smart people my age who liked obscure things, dug them up, and then threw them into the mainstream. Etch-a-sketch life. They made a TV show based on that book, too, starring a popular actor of my childhood. In the story, the man was quickly turned off by the protagonist's violent pursuit of him, but his disinterest only seemed to fuel her. She wrote him desperate letters and continued to do so even after numerous rejections. In the TV show, the childhood actor was no longer young or wearing leather jackets, but his face remained boyish despite the ratness of it. The story was supposed to be about something else, not about the obsession, but about art theory and a woman coming into her own, all thinky stuff. But I liked it for the obsession, since that was the only part I could relate to. I could relate to the desperate letter writing and over-the-top, unreciprocated sexual confessionals. I didn't do that with Sebastian, but that doesn't mean I didn't want to. I wanted to do all those things. I wanted to hide in the bushes across from his apartment. I wished I was more like the protagonist of the book, bold and proud of my craziness. I was too subtle. I wanted to run into Sebastian, unscripted. But it was impossible. Even our geography didn't allow it. He lived in the suburbs. I street viewed his address on Google Maps and rode the cursor around his neighborhood enough times that I memorized all the details. In his driveway, the absence of his mother's car. On the corner, a young girl in a colorless coat. A few blocks down, a new refrigerator being delivered. I was familiar with his daily schedule. He left the house to work out of the coffee shop a short drive away. In the evening, he went out to drink. Sometimes he drove to the city to go on dates. I didn't want to think about that. It wasn't necessarily that I was jealous of him sharing his body. I just didn't want him to think that he had the time to meet other women when he told me he had no time to meet with me. I knew where his favorite bar was in the city, but the place closed down shortly after he started disappearing. I only went by the bar once to see if I would run into him, and I didn't. And I felt mortified that I did that, so I never did it again. Since there was no chance I could run into him where I lived downtown, in a city that pretended to be New York but wasn't, I tried to conjure him in other ways. For example, by counting random things. Tiles, letters and words, redheads. If it's an even number, he is thinking of me. An odd number, he is not. If it was an odd number, I'd count again. And again, and again, until I got an even number, and I could move along holding on to that like a neurotic, clueless person. I've never felt more alive, even though I was neurotic, clueless, and in pain. Later on, when I admitted to myself about how big of a problem my obsession was becoming, I bought and tried to read popular self-help books about unrequited love, narcissism, and other bad behavior. During one of my more focused readings, I learned about a condition called limerence. It was not yet classified as a psychological illness in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, but there were some studies and books written about it. Limerence was characterized by intrusive thinking about the object of one's affection, and it manifested as a vacillation between intense joy and deep despair, depending on the feelings being reciprocated or not. The pendulum of its design reminded me of bipolar disorder, or at least what I remembered about it from my days as